Regardless of how bad some one-hit wonders may be, and we're looking at you, Mambo number 5.
A little bit of Monica in my life.
The uniqueness of the songs and the artists who created them cannot be denied. Sadly, some of those artists got sent to the jukebox in the sky before they made it to the charts for a second time. Here's a few one-hit wonders you may not know are dead. Pete Burns, Dead or Alive. As the gender-bending face of Dead or Alive, Pete Burns transitioned from 80s music icon to reality TV star. By the time he appeared on the UK version of Big Brother, he was barely recognizable as the person in the video for You Spin Me Round. If you're not a child of the 80s, you may recognize samples from the song in Flo Rida's You Spin My Head Right Round, and of course from Adam Sandler's last good movie, The Wedding Singer. After selling 17 million albums and 36 million singles, Burns went bankrupt after spending most of his money on plastic surgeries. He died at the age of 57 in October of 2016. Rob Pilatus, Milli Vanilli.
Girl, you know it's true. I love you.
Most people are familiar with the lip-syncing scandal that brought down the luxuriously dreadlocked duo Milli Vanilli.
Well, maybe they wouldn't have been so disgraced if they hadn't been so successful. They lived a lie, and when the truth was out, they lived in shame.
What you may not know is that Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan took very different paths. Though they tried to maintain their partnership with their brief and disastrous stint as Rob and Fab, they eventually parted ways. Morvan struggled to piece together a solo career, which led him to the European electronic music scene as well as an unlikely gig as a spokesperson for KFC.
Chicken 1 2, chicken 1 2. Okay.
Pilatus did not fare so well, speaking out bitterly against the backlash Milli Vanilli received and laid the blame at producer Frank Farian's feet. In the years after the scandal, Pilatus reportedly got involved in criminal activity, attempted suicide multiple times, and fell into drug use before landing in rehab. Pilatus died on April 2, 1998, of an alleged accidental overdose of alcohol and pills at the age of 33, right on the verge of Milli Vanilli's comeback tour, this time using their real voices. Their final album was never released. Pauly Fumana, OMC.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
The driving force behind OMC, or Otara Millionaires Club if you're fancy, Pauly Fumana reportedly started the band as a South Auckland hip-hop outfit. We can only guess as to why Fumana emerged as the singular talent, especially with lyrics like, well,
Elephants and acrobats, lion, snake, monkey. Billy speaks righteous, Sister Cena says funky.
That sort of creative genius is something you don't question. Well, that and the fact that he was apparently a pretty intimidating former gang member. Unfortunately, Fumana suffered from a disease called chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, which caused Fumana to lose his sight and the ability to work. He succumbed to pneumonia on January 31, 2010 at the age of 40, leaving behind a wife and 6 children, and at least one very weird song. Azora Armstead, Weather Girls.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen.
After performing as backup singers for disco star Sylvester, Azora Armstead and Martha Wash moved on to form the Weather Girls and release It's Raining Men in 1982. In no time at all, the tune became the anthem for wine-drunk moms out on the town and pride parades worldwide. Wash left the group in 1990, and Armstead's daughter, Dynell Rhodes, took up her mantle so the group could live on just as the gods of bachelorette parties and wedding receptions would have wanted. Armstead died of heart failure on September 16, 2004 at age 62, but Rhodes has kept the Weather Girls alive by forming its third incarnation with Ingrid Arthur. Together, Rhodes and Arthur are continuing to rain men all over the world, and we just know Armstead is smiling down on them. Amen. Chrissy Amphlett, Divinyls. Probably safe to say that neither Chrissy Amphlett nor the rest of the Divinyls thought that they were writing a song that would forever leave a mark on both the music and film world when they came up with I Touch Myself. Pop culture serves as powerful reminders of the punch this one-hit wonder packed. Though the song came out in 1991, it's still a solid jam even today. The Divinyls released 5 full-length albums between 1982 and 1996, but they never created anything to rival the smash hit that somehow became the potentially uncomfortable, highly suggestive hit. Chrissy Amphlett died at home at the age of 53 on April 21, 2013, after fighting breast cancer and multiple sclerosis. Falco. According to some pretty insanely weird conspiracy theories, Falco, born Johann Hölzel, was murdered by the Illuminati for exposing Freemasonry in his songs. In reality, the 40-year-old Falco died in 1998 when his SUV hit a bus in the Dominican Republic. So it's not exactly the Masonic demonic blood sacrifices outlined by some weirder fringes of YouTube. And really, Falco actually had 2 amazing hits, if we're getting technical. So why did we include him on this list? Clearly, we've been brainwashed by the powerful mind control of the lizard people who secretly control the media. The evidence is all right here. Kevin McMichael, Cutting Crew. Together with longtime collaborator Nick Van Eede, Kevin McMichael formed Cutting Crew in 1985, and within a year, their debut single, I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight, was at the top of the charts. After selling 3 million copies of their debut album, the guys weren't able to repeat that success with their next 2 albums, and the band broke up in 1993. McMichael went on to land an impressive spot as a guitarist for Robert Plant, until McMichael moved back to Canada for more modest pursuits when Jimmy Page returned. According to The Independent, McMichael didn't mind his time away from the spotlight, saying, quote, "Now I'm divorced from all that. I'm not looking at the charts and Billboard every week," end quote. McMichael organized a benefit show on behalf of cancer research, which he performed just before his death from cancer on December 31, 2002 at age 51. Jimmy McShane, Baltimora. You may recognize Tarzan Boy from the background of a Listerine commercial.
Antiseptic. It fights bad breath with an exhilarating, cool, minty taste.
Or maybe even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 or the classic Beverly Hills Ninja. It's appeared in some very strange places, but the backstory of Baltimora is just as strange. According to the Belfast Telegraph, Jimmy McShane was cast by a producer as Baltimora's frontman solely because of his looks and dancing abilities. In an echo of the Milli Vanilli scandal, McShane was criticized for lip-syncing during live performances, and, reportedly frustrated by the ruse, as well as the group's failure to land another hit, McShane left the business. After being diagnosed with AIDS in 1994, McShane chose to spend the last year of his life in Northern Ireland, where he died at the age of 37 in 1995. Doug Fieger, The Knack. My Sharona is the perfect example of one of those songs that everyone knows exactly 2 parts of, the first line and the chorus. It also became a pop culture touchstone in about a million ways.
Ooh, my little hungry one, open up a package of my bologna.
My back! My begonia! My Sharona!
When you're gonna visit me, come and take a look at all my Toyotas.
According to Doug Fieger, lead singer and guitarist for The Knack, this song was written in 15 minutes about an irresistible ex-girlfriend. Fieger, 57, died of lung cancer on February 14, 2010. You were an interesting dude, Fieger, and wrote one hell of a jam that one time. Thanks for watching. Click the Nicki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.